For decades, the waves of Lake Agassiz crashed on shore, and rolling miles of prairie stretched as far as the eye could see. The American Indians roamed the land and learned to cultivate corn and how to survive during the winter. By congressional action, the Louisiana Purchase brought an end to the freedom that the Indians once had. Settlers began to arrive from all over the world. In the early 1870s, some of the very first settlers arrived in what is known as present-day Ulen. Ole Ulen was the first person to build a homestead in the area. Ole came from Norway with his wife Torgen and his 3 daughters. I had the chance to speak with Dale Holman about Ole Ulen and how Ulen established the town. Dale Holman is one of the managers of the Ulen Museum. He is a lifelong resident and is considered an expert of the history of the community.
Ole Ulen came from Norway to the United States in around the 1850s, and he first lived in Wisconsin, and then he was in Iowa for a while, and then Spring Grove, Minnesota, which is in the southeastern part of the state. He came up here with his wife and 3 daughters in approximately 1873, and he got a homestead for 160 acres of land just to the north edge of Ulen. Here shows the settlers coming across the country with all their possessions. This is Ole Ulen's first house, replica of that, and Jane said that her grandfather told her that he remembered that during the summers Indians would camp nearby, but they were friendly. There was one interesting quirk there though. They couldn't go into the teepee and the Indians wouldn't go into their house. They'd exchange things outside and visit outside.
The north edge of the city of Ulen still sits along the Wild Rice River in northeastern Clay County. Settlement increased after the American Civil War, where the land was taken from the Native Americans by the Treaty of Traverse des Sioux. Following the war, the majority of Dakota Indians were expelled from Minnesota, and European settlement increased rapidly. Because the land was taken by force, it was cheap and easily accessible for Europeans to purchase. The first post office was established in Odnaland in 1884 by the postmaster Tulloch Odnaland. The railroad was built in 1886. However, Odnaland's store was in the path of the rails, so it was moved to the east side of the tracks. When this happened, the name of the town was changed to Ulen. The city of Ulen was established on part of Ulen's homestead and was incorporated as a village in 1896. When the town of Ulen was established, its population was 319. Hans Johansson was one of the first residents, as well as the first owner of a section of land 3 miles west of Ulen. He had plowed his farm many times, however, changed the way he plowed based on a meeting he attended. The speaker at the meeting emphasized the benefits of deep plowing. Hans then returned home and set his plow several inches deeper. When spring rolled around in 1911, Hans went out and plowed his field, but suddenly stopped when he heard metal scraping against metal. He found a rusted sword under the plow. This would later be called the Viking sword. For years, the Viking sword has been an iconic treasure of Ulen, bringing people in from all over the world. Questions remain as to whether it is an actual Viking sword, but it still provides a glimpse into Ulen's history. Settlers from Norway thought Ulen was a great place to start a new life, leaving behind crop failures, blights, and poverty. There were miles of open field that were naturally fertilized and ready to grow crops. Ulen is not a very big town, seeing as it only has a population of 546. Despite the fact that it is a small town, Ulen has proven to be a thriving farming community. Corporate farming has taken over, however, decreasing the number of family farms, causing the population in the area to decrease as well. If it wasn't for Ole traveling all the way from Norway to pursue his farming career, the town may not have existed today.